In the previous class, we have defined infinitesimal translation operator in terms of momentum operator. Now, today in this class, we will see how this leads to the commutation relation between position and momentum. Okay, so let us start like this. Consider infinitesimal translation operator and position operator, okay, three-dimensional position operator acting on the state x prime, the base ket x prime. Sequentially, okay, first infinitesimal translation operator is acting on it and then position operator. Now, what is the result of this acting on this one? What you get is position operator is here. The effect of infinitesimal translation operator acting on this base ket is this becomes x prime plus dx prime. Okay. Now you have position operator acting on this base ket. This is position eigenket. When position operator acts on this position eigenket, you get corresponding eigenvalue times this eigenket. What is the eigenvalue? The eigenvalue corresponding to this eigenket is x prime plus dx prime. Okay, that's the eigenvalue, and the eigenket is again x prime plus ket x prime plus dx prime. Okay, so here the last step is the result of position operator acting on this position eigenket is eigenvalue times the eigenket, because it's an eigenket of position operator, so you get an eigenvalue equation. Let's call it equation 1. So what we have done here is position operator and infinitesimal translation operator act on position eigenket sequentially. First infinitesimal translation operator, then position operator. Let us now change the order. Okay, so now position operator acts first and then infinitesimal translation operator on the position eigenket x prime. When position operator acts on this position eigenket, you get this eigenvalue, that is x prime, vector x prime times this eigenket, and that vector x prime is an eigenvalue. Okay, so this operator should act on the eigenket. So what you get is vector x prime infinitesimal translation operator acting on ket x prime. Okay, so this is the operator acting on eigenket. You get eigenvalue times eigenket. Okay, now this eigenvalue being a real number, okay, I just take it outside. So it's actually it's a vector, contains 3 scalars, but this, as far as this operator is concerned, it acts only on this eigenket. Okay, right? Only this vector, this operator will be acting. This is see, this is, we can ask a question, is this not a vector? But this vector symbol actually is a collective index for 3 scalars. Okay, so when this acts on this one, you get actually a combination of these 3 scalars. This operator is interested in only this eigenket. Okay, that's why we have kept this eigenvalue here, and the operator is acting on this eigenket. Now, what is the result of this operator acting on this eigenket? You get this eigenvalue is here, and when this infinitesimal translation operator acts on this eigenket, you get x prime plus dx prime. Call it equation 2. Now, let us subtract 1 from 2. So, we have 1 minus 2. So, what you have? X I dx prime minus I dx prime x acting on this x prime. In other words, we have commutator x comma infinitesimal translation operator I dx prime acting on ket x prime. That is the left hand side, right? xi minus ix is this. On the right side, what you get is when you subtract 1 minus 2, when you do, one term will go, and what is remaining is dx prime times this eigenket, x prime plus dx prime. Okay. Now here I am quoting a result. This result we will prove later. Okay. So I am quoting the result that this is approximately equal to this dx prime times the eigenket x prime. Okay. Understand that we are not simply neglecting this dx prime. No. Instead of this eigenket, we are using this eigenket with an approximation symbol. Okay, this can be justified later. This is justifiable, or what we have done is, this is approximation is valid up to second order in dx prime. Okay, or at first glance we may think that we are simply neglecting this ket, in this ket x prime plus dx prime, we are simply neglecting this and we are writing it. No, this is an eigenket, this is a different eigenket, but this result is approximately equal to this result up to first order in dx prime. But what is being done is, we use a Taylor expansion, we expand this eigenket in terms of this eigenket. Okay, then we have one more term, and when you multiply this with the two terms, the second term will be second order in dx prime. That second order dx prime term we are neglecting. Anyway, we will establish that result clearly a little later after this discussion is over. So let us quote this result now. Okay, so we have got this. Okay, now what we can say is, we have a, what is this? We have an operator acting on a vector here. This is equal to some eigenvalue times the vector. Okay, so we can write both sides as an operator equation. Okay, we can simply remove this vector. This is any arbitrary eigenket. Okay, any arbitrary position eigenket, so we can remove that. So we can write this as, this implies this x comma infinitesimal translation operator is equal to, I am dropping this approximation symbol because throughout we have to use that, so let's simply use equal. It's equal to dx prime, vector dx prime times identity operator. Okay, so we have got this result. Now let us expand the left hand side using the expression, the formula of infinitesimal translation operator in terms of the momentum operator. Okay, now the momentum operator comes into picture. This is the commutation rule between position operator and infinitesimal translation operator. We can see that this type of a result we have got position operator, three-dimensional position operator. The commutator of three-dimensional position operator with infinitesimal translation operator is dx prime, vector dx prime times identity. Now what we are going to do now is, we want to establish the commutation relation between position and momentum. For that, let us substitute the infinitesimal translation operator, its formula in terms of momentum operator. Okay, so left hand side I am going to expand. So this is something like xi minus ix. So what you have is x times, what is this identity operator, this infinitesimal translation operator in terms of momentum, identity minus I p by h cross dot dx prime. This is x times infinitesimal translation operator minus this times x. So we have identity minus I p by h cross dot dx prime times x. Okay, left hand side is simply x I minus ix, where I is the infinitesimal translation operator. Instead of infinitesimal translation operator, here and here we are substituting the expression in terms of momentum operator. Is equal to dx prime I, identity. Let us expand the left hand side. So we have x, vector x times identity, and here we have minus I times x, so that x will cancel. So what is remaining is minus I p by h cross dot dx prime minus of minus, this is plus identity p by h cross dot dx prime x vector x equal to dx prime identity. Okay, we have got this result like this. Now instead of dx prime, let dx prime is equal to okay, so let me choose a particular component of this infinitesimal displacement vector. Okay, dx prime is an infinitesimal displacement vector, right? This is an infinitesimal displacement vector. So let me choose this as dxj xj cap. Let me write this like this. Okay, so I am writing this infinitesimal displacement vector as along a particular direction xj. It can be any direction, so I am choosing it like this. This doesn't lose any generality, okay, because xj can be any direction. So if we in other words, I am choosing a particular component of this infinitesimal translation vector. Okay, so this p dot dx prime becomes p dot dx prime is equal to p dot, instead of dx prime, let me substitute this. Okay, let me use this unit vector first. So we have xj cap dxj. This is our dx prime. Now p dot xj, okay, again we are using Cartesian coordinates. This is a three-dimensional position of momentum operator, and this is xj cap, unit vector along a particular direction. So what you get is, in this dot product, we get pj dxj. P dot xj cap becomes pj. We get one component of the momentum operator. So in this formula, we can if we choose dx prime like this along the jth direction, what you get is this p dot dx prime becomes pj dxj. So we have minus I vector x. Here we have pj dxj divided by h cross plus I pj dxj divided by h cross times vector x equals, on the right hand side we can use this dxj xj cap identity. Okay, throughout we can cancel dxj. Okay, so there in all the terms. So we have and also we can take I outside, minus I outside. So we have minus I by h cross. H cross is also common. So what is remaining is x times pj minus, when I take minus I outside, we have a minus sign here, pj times x equals, dxj has gone, we have xj cap times identity. Okay. Now minus I, if I take it in the denominator, it will become plus I. Our minus I is 1 by I. This IH cross I can take to the right side. So we have x times pj minus pj times x is equal, this is vector x, okay. IH cross xj cap identity. Okay. Now let me take inner product or scalar product with xi cap on both sides. Okay, so when we take a dot product with xi cap on both sides, on the left hand side we have dot product with xi cap and x. So we have terms like xi cap dot vector x. This is nothing but xi. Okay. On the right hand side we have xi cap dot xj cap. These are all unit vectors. This is delta ij. Because if I and j are equal, this is 1, they are orthonormal. I and j are different, that 0, they are orthogonal, right? So this is equal to, okay, since they are orthonormal, if they are equal to identical unit vectors, we get 1. If they are different unit vectors, since they are orthogonal to each other, you get 0. That's it. So if I use this here, we have xi pj minus pj xi. Okay, xi cap dot x is equal to xi. Is equal to ih cross delta ij identity. And the left hand side is the commutator between xi and pj. Okay, this I is square root of minus 1. It's different from this. So this is the commutation relation between position and momentum operator. So this xi and pj are components of position and momentum operators. The ij runs from 1 to 3. Okay, in the three-dimensional physical space, they have 3 components. And here we see that if I and j are different, then right hand side is 0. That means position along one direction, momentum along component along another direction, they commute with each other. They are compatible operators. Whereas position and momentum, if I is equal to j, this is 1. So if I and j are the same, that is position along one direction, momentum along the same direction, they are incompatible operators. So this is the, we call this canonical commutation rule. Canonical commutation rule, or we can also say it's a commutation rule between canonically conjugate variables, position and momentum. Okay. So here what we have seen is that once we start with the definition of infinitesimal translation operator in terms of the momentum operator, then we can establish, once we postulate that the definition of infinitesimal translation operator, then we can establish the commutation relation between position and momentum operators. So postulating infinitesimal translation operator in terms of momentum operator is equivalent to postulating this commutation rule. Okay. So we cannot say one is more fundamental than the other because we started with a postulate. So if we postulate this, we can establish the infinitesimal translation operator. On the other hand, if we start with the infinitesimal translation operator in terms of momentum operator, we can establish this. Okay, they are interconnected. Anyway, understand that it's a postulate. We started with a postulate, that means postulating the first step is equivalent to postulating this step. So the commutation relation between two canonically conjugate variables is obtained as xi comma pj equals ih cross delta ij identity. Now suppose I is equal to j is equal to x. This I and j can be 1, 2, 3 or equivalently x, y, z. So if I equal to j equal to x or 1, we can say we get x comma px. Okay, I is equal to x, j is equal to x, or I equal to 1, j equal to 1. x1 is same as x, p1 is px. Okay, here when I is equal to j is equal to 1 or x, then delta ij will be 1, so we get ih cross times identity. Okay, this is the commutation relation between position and linear momentum, or this is also called Heisenberg's commutation relation between position and momentum. Yeah. Now this shows that they are incompatible operators. There is an uncertainty relationship between such incompatible operators. We know the general uncertainty relationship between two incompatible operators is delta A, uncertainty in A into uncertainty in B is greater than or equal to 1 by 2 times modulus 1 by I expectation value of commutator between A and B. It's like this. So what is the uncertainty relation between x and px? Delta x into delta px greater than or equal to 1 by 2 1 by I times expectation value of the commutation relation between A and B. Commutation relation between A and B is IH cross. It's times I. Its expectation value is simply IH cross. So I will cancel. We get delta x, delta px greater than or equal to h cross by 2. This is the Heisenberg's uncertainty relationship between position and momentum. Okay, now we have established the commutation relation between position and momentum, and we have also seen how the uncertainty relationship between position and momentum is obtained from that. Now let us go back to this relation. I have quoted this result in the discussion of commutation relation between position and momentum. So this infinitesimal vector dx prime acting on this eigenket, okay, is equal to dx prime times eigenket x prime, okay, as if this eigenket is approximately equal to this eigenket, or dx prime times this eigenket. And I have also stated that this approximation is meaningful when we neglect the terms containing second order in dx prime. Let us see how this is correct. Here this dx prime is a vector, it's a three-dimensional vector, right? So I am trying to establish this result using a one-dimensional variable. Okay. Now, if you have a general eigenket alpha, okay, suppose you take the component of this eigenket about the variable x prime, or you take the component of this general ket along a position eigenket. This component of a general ket vector along the position, when we use a position eigenket as the basis, this is called wave function. Okay, here I am anticipating the result, the discussion of a few two classes later. I have not introduced wave function so far, but this wave function is this: the component of a general eigenket in position basis. That's called wave function. So let this is equal to some wave function psi x prime. Okay, and then this ket alpha in the basis x prime plus dx prime. I am not using vector symbol, I am just considering only x direction, only one physical dimension. So this is a wave function x prime plus dx prime. Okay, now the wave function at x prime plus dx prime we can express in terms of wave function at x prime, where this dx prime is very small, an infinitesimal displacement, using Taylor expansion. So let us use Taylor expansion here. So psi of x prime plus dx prime is equal to psi of x prime plus dou by dou x of psi of x dx prime times dou by dou x of psi of x evaluated at x equal to x prime, plus then next will be dx prime square by 2 factorial, so dou square by dou x square of psi of x evaluated at x equal to x prime, and so on. So let us stop at the linear term. So we are neglecting terms containing dx prime square and higher powers. Okay, then let's again, this is, so I have introduced this wave function for the convenience of expressing using Taylor expansion, because we are familiar with Taylor expansion in terms of functions. Let's go back to this abstract notation in Bryan-Ket notation. And what is psi of x prime plus dx prime? This, that is x prime, bra vector x prime plus dx prime ket alpha. This is x prime alpha dx prime times dou by dou x of okay, here we have to, when you evaluate this, you have to evaluate the dou by dou x of psi of x at x equal to x prime. So we get dou by dou x of we can say x prime alpha. Okay, in the sense that yeah, we have to differentiate first and then put x equal to x prime. Okay, now this I am rewriting as alpha. I am interchanging the bra vector and ket vector. Then we have to put a complex conjugate. So alpha times bra vector alpha x prime plus dx prime star bra vector alpha x prime plus dx prime dou by dou x of this becomes alpha x prime. No, here also you have to put a star. Now this, if we write as an identity, see this gram vector alpha is an arbitrary vector, right? It's an arbitrary eigenket. Sorry, arbitrary ket vector, a general ket vector. Now if we remove that from all the sides, then we have an expression like x prime plus dx prime star is equal to x prime, here also put a star, okay, we are interchanging it, plus dx prime dou by dou x of ket x prime star. This is valid for all base kets. If this is valid for all base kets, then its complex conjugate is also valid for all base kets. That means we can say x prime plus dx prime ket is equal to ket x prime plus dx prime dou by dou x of ket x prime. Okay, let's come back to this result. Dx prime, vector dx prime times this. Okay, let's drop the vector symbol and consider only the one component. So what happens when dx and this eigenket is multiplied by a dx, a scalar dx, okay, which is a small increment. This is equal to dx times x prime plus, here let me put dx prime, okay. Here what happens is dx prime into dx prime, we have dx prime square times dou by dou x of x prime. Maybe we can put dou by dou x prime because put x equal to x prime is here, right? Dou by dou x prime. Okay. Now we have a second order term in dx prime here, dx prime square. So if you drop that, what you get is dx prime, this is approximately equal to dx prime times x prime. This result is used here. Only difference is that here this is only in one component, one direction, or one component of the infinitesimal displacement vector. Here we have used three components, the vector symbol. That's only difference. Otherwise this result is same as this result. Okay. So see, look at this result. This infinitesimal displacement vector multiplied by the eigenket at x prime plus dx prime is approximately equal to the same infinitesimal displacement vector times the eigenket at x prime. Here we are neglecting terms in higher order, a second order in dx prime. That's what we have done here. It's a second order term, we have neglected that. So retaining only the first order term, this times x prime plus dx prime is approximately equal to dx prime times ket x prime. Okay, so this is the result, and here I have introduced an idea of wave function. This we will discuss in detail after two classes. This I have introduced here just to show the Taylor expansion. Okay, we can also write the Taylor expansion directly here itself, okay, or here itself. Okay, but since this may be a little, we may not be feeling familiar that this is our Taylor expansion. So that's why I am using this notation of wave function. It's a function. We are familiar with Taylor expansion of functions. Okay. Okay. So we have quoted this result in the discussion of establishing the commutation relation between position and momentum operators.